Officer Darius Jones of the Oakland Police Department thought it was just another ordinary day until a surprising revelation unfolded. Despite his extensive career and witnessing various situations, nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to discover. He had often observed a young boy strolling through the neighborhood. On this particular day, he chose to follow him. Little did he know that this decision would be a memorable one. Welcome back to Story Scape. Before we get into today's video, take a moment to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to also hit that notification bell so that you won't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Officer Darius Jones had noticed a young boy on his patrol in Oakland, California, seemingly too young to be on his own. Each day, the boy followed the same routine, walking with a backpack, entering a convenience store, and leaving with only his backpack. Intrigued by the consistency, Officer Jones, especially attentive to cases involving children, decided to investigate. The boy's determined routine puzzled him, prompting Officer Jones to discreetly observe. Eventually, he witnessed the boy buying diapers regularly. Concerned, he approached the cashier for information, learning the boy's strange and troubling routine. Unsure of immediate intervention, Officer Jones followed the boy to a worn-down house, discovering a distressed mother. "Ma'am, I'm Officer Darius Jones," he said, his voice gentle yet authoritative. "I've noticed a young boy buying diapers daily at this house. I'm concerned for his well-being and would like to understand the situation." The woman's face turned pale, her eyes darting nervously. Officer Jones sensed her unease, but remained steadfast, waiting for her response. "Can I come in? I've talked to the cashier at the convenience store he visits daily, and they're also worried. Is everything okay, ma'am?" After a moment of hesitation, she invited him inside, leading him to a sparsely furnished living room. "Sorry about the mess. I can't do much at the moment," she eventually said. Officer Jones, with a heavy sigh, listened as Emily shared her heart-wrenching story as a single mother battling various challenges. As a police officer, he had encountered many heartbreaking stories, but he had no clue about the dark and sinister situation at play in Emily's life, a situation unlike anything he had seen in his career. Officer Jones learned about Emily's losing her job months ago, struggling with postnatal depression, and the daily challenges of providing for her family. Emily's 8-year-old son Daniel had become a strong support, helping around the house and even cooking light meals. However, Emily leaves out crucial parts of the story while talking to Officer Jones. Sitting back in his chair, Officer Jones couldn't believe the hardships Emily had faced. With a smile, Daniel offered him coffee, but the officer sensed there was more to the situation. "Thanks, buddy, but you didn't have to make this," Officer Jones replied. "I see you walking to the shop every day. I wanted to know if you're okay, pal." Daniel wore a fearful expression, and the officer sensed he might be hiding something. "You can tell me anything, Daniel. Don't be afraid. You're safe now," reassured the officer. Fidgeting and unable to sit still, Daniel's behavior raised Officer Jones' suspicions. Eventually, Daniel spoke up. "I have to help Mommy. I don't like it, but I have to, or else." He stopped abruptly. "Or else what?" Officer Jones inquired. But before he could get more information, Daniel's mom intervened, attributing it to tiredness and nervousness. With a weary smile, she asked if there was anything else the officer needed help with, yet it was evident she was hiding something. Officer Jones saw fear in her eyes, similar to what had affected her son. As he stood up and put on his cap, he bid goodbye, leaving a sense that this wouldn't be the last time the family would see him. The officer left the house with a racing mind having uncovered just the beginning of something significant. Determined to find out more, he took one last look at the dilapidated house before walking to his cruiser. As he started the engine, an unexpected event caught his attention. A living room curtain slid aside, revealing small eyes fixed on him. "Daniel," Officer Jones whispered. The boy, tearful, stared at the cruiser, and the officer felt an unsettling sensation that someone else was watching. Both Daniel and his mom harbored fear for a reason. Someone else was in control. Officer Jones resisted the urge to wave goodbye, driving off while sensing there was more to uncover. Just around the corner, he reported the incident, requesting dispatch to check data related to the street. He was interested in anything that would raise eyebrows, from gang activity to break-ins. However, what he would discover was something more than he had anticipated. Officer Jones, a compassionate cop who never let a case defeat him, worked tirelessly over the years to bring justice to those who deserved it. However, this case proved to be unlike any he had encountered before. Keeping an eye on the house, little Daniel and his mom, he was unaware that someone was already watching him. Returning to the station, he found a colleague with a desk full of files related to the street and house he had just visited. The files revealed a series of dark cases, creating a sense of escalating chaos centered in that part of the city. The woman's house, known for its troubled history, had gained a fearful reputation in the neighborhood. Officer Jones, an expert in criminology, sought a logical explanation for the events. Examining maps, he realized the house was strategically positioned, well hidden, and built like a fortress. Despite these features, he couldn't explain the unsettling behavior he witnessed earlier. Reflecting on the day's events, he wondered if the woman and Daniel were involved in illegal activities, given their sudden change in demeanor. Based on his findings, Officer Jones was convinced that the house served as a base for criminal activity. Considering its history and strategic location, it made sense for a gang or criminal organization to use it as an outpost. This realization weighed heavily on the officer, who despised the idea that someone had knowingly entangled a mom and her kids in such a mess. Determined to put an end to it, he sighed, wiping the sweat from his eyebrows. The officer got up from his seat and headed home, planning to review more information about the house and prevalent gangs in town. With files in hand, he drove home, took a quick shower, ate with his family, and spent the night going through the files. The next day, he returned to the store, hoping to see if Daniel would show up again. Wanting to buy food for Daniel and his mom as a goodwill gesture, he aimed to build trust with the boy, who seemed apprehensive the previous day. Officer Jones wondered if Daniel's mom had been manipulated or was in a tight spot. Parking his car a few blocks from the store, he waited for Daniel to show up in the morning, but the boy didn't appear. The officer drove to the store and asked the cashier if Daniel had come for his daily diapers. The answer heightened fear and panic. "He didn't show up today," the cashier said, adding that a large man bought the same diapers at the usual time and headed in the direction Daniel usually took. Without waiting for a clear description, Officer Jones thanked the cashier and hurried to his car, knowing he needed to reach the woman's house as fast as possible. The officer pulled into the woman's driveway, his heart pounding. Walking up the stairs, he announced himself before entering, finding Daniel and his mom in the living room as if they'd been expecting him. He asked Daniel if he was okay and turned to Emily, inquiring about their well-being. Before Daniel could respond, a man barged in, alarming Emily. Officer Jones instinctively stood between the man and the boy, calmly identifying himself as Officer Darius Jones from the Oakland Police Department. The man questioned Jones' presence, insisting it was none of his business. Feeling the danger, Officer Jones tried to reach for his radio, but the man focused on him. Attempting to de-escalate, Jones explained his concern for Daniel and Emily, stating he wanted to help. The man, claiming to be a close friend, rejected assistance. Before the situation escalated, Officer Hernandez, Jones' partner, entered, diffusing tension. As they conversed, it became clear the mysterious man had some hold over the family. Officer Jones observed Daniel's fear and the anger toward the man. Despite feeling uneasy, Officer Jones and Hernandez had to leave after talking to the man. Jones regretted leaving them in that situation, still having questions, especially about Daniel's statement regarding helping his mother, or else. The officers wondered about the man's role and why he barged into their house. The next day, Officer Jones returned to Emily and Daniel's house, having had a sleepless night with numerous questions. Despite knocking multiple times, there was no answer initially. Eventually, Emily opened the door with tears streaming down her face, questioning why he had come back. Officer Jones expressed his desire to help them, but needed information about the man who had entered the house. Emily opened up, revealing the man as a local gang boss demanding protection money. She explained that he beat her when they couldn't pay, especially after Officer Jones visited. Feeling empathy, Officer Jones understood the urgency to help them escape this dire situation. Recognizing the complexities involving poverty, mental health struggles, and domestic violence, he knew that merely solving one issue wouldn't fix everything. Officer Jones was determined to protect Daniel and Emily, considering involving social services, but cautious about the potential consequences. He acknowledged Emily's efforts under challenging circumstances and aimed to help Daniel return to school. Concerned about Daniel's lack of positive role models, Officer Jones vowed to be one for him. Wanting to understand Daniel's earlier statement, Officer Jones spoke to him privately. He discovered that Daniel's responsibility was to get diapers daily for his younger sister Lily, who had a medical condition. Emily clarified that without a stockpile, daily purchases were necessary. Officer Jones listened attentively, realizing the depth of Emily's sacrifices and her profound love for her children. Although moved by their story of resilience, he questioned why Daniel wasn't in school, learning about their financial struggles. Determined to help, Officer Jones recognized the need for Daniel to go to school and Emily to find employment. The challenge ahead weighed on him, but he was committed to helping this family escape their difficult circumstances. Touched by Emily's story, Officer Jones realized the broader role he played as a police officer. Beyond enforcing the law, he saw his duty as safeguarding the community and finding solutions to its challenges. Determined to assist Emily and her family, he reached out to local charities, social services, and community organizations, seeking resources to ease their financial burden. The neighborhood rallied, organizing fundraisers, collecting donations, and providing emotional support, a powerful display of community resilience. Simultaneously, Officer Jones continued investigations to ensure the family's safety. Uncovering a network exploiting vulnerable families, he collaborated with colleagues to build a case and bring these criminals to justice. The community's determination grew stronger as they became more vigilant in reporting suspicious activities, thanking Officer Jones for standing up for their community. Months later, the day of reckoning arrived. Officer Jones and fellow officers apprehended those preying on families like Emily's, bringing solace to the community. Proudly eliminating the threat, Emily and her family breathed a sigh of relief. The weight of constant worry was lifted, replaced by newfound hope, thanks to community support. With therapy for Emily's depression and resources from the community, they began rebuilding their lives. Emily found employment, Lily's medical needs were addressed, and Daniel returned to school, supported by Emily's job. Officer Jones carried the lessons with him, approaching his duties as a catalyst for positive change. Checking in on Emily and her children, his commitment to the community grew stronger, becoming a beacon of hope for those in need. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you have yet to do so. Be sure to also hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss out on our upcoming videos.